how much he's entrusted us with his word. And if he's entrusting us with his word, Tim, he's entrusting us with him. He said it. The word was. The word became. The word is. He's entrusted us with him. So my question to you is, how do you treat him? How do you treat him? I mean, a lot of us take him to work. But as soon as we get in the car, we throw him over into the passenger seat, and we think that's good enough. A lot of us scramble to look for him before Sunday service because we've lost him. A lot of us find interpretation after interpretation so we can understand him, but yet we never meditate on him. A lot of us know that we're descendants of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, but yet we don't know him. We know the promise of Abraham. We know that, but we don't know him. The enemy is going to come for this. So if the enemy ain't coming for you, then you don't have this. I'm going to show you something. And I want you to receive it. And I want you to receive it in the most profound way that you can. I want you to open up your hearts and your minds to receive the word. I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you the struggle that you have within yourself. Then I'm going to give you what God says about you. I'm going to give you the struggle which you have within yourself. Then I'm going to give you what God has for you. You have an option. You have a choice. You can pick what you say about you, or you can pick what God says about you. But the word of God stands true. The word of God stands true. You say it's impossible. God says in Luke, all things are possible. You say, I'm too tired. God says in Matthew, I will give you rest. You say, nobody really loves me. And God says in John, I love you. You say, I can't go on. God says in Corinthians, my grace is sufficient. You say, I can't figure things out. In Proverbs, God says, I will direct your steps. You say, I can't do it, but God says in Philippians, you can do all things. You say, I'm not able. God said in Corinthians, I am able. You say it's not worth it. God said, it will be worth it. You say, I can't forgive myself. In Romans, God says, I forgive you. You say, I can't manage. God says in Philippians, I will supply all your needs. You say, I'm afraid. In Timothy, God says, I have not given you the spirit of fear. You say, I am always worried or frustrated. God says, cast your cares onto me. You say, I'm not smart enough. God says, I give you wisdom. You say, I feel alone. God says in Hebrew, I will never leave you or forsake you. If you don't know the word, you can't use the word against the enemy. I suggest you quit trying to fight that fight all by yourself and pick up your word and know it. There's not a pastor on this earth, there's not a minister on this earth that can save you and vouch for you to get into heaven. You're going to have to know the word. Stop what you're doing because you're not doing it right. If you are doing it all by yourself, you are not doing it right. Press pause, get to know the word, then start doing it. The mistake that we make is we interject ourselves into the word. We got bracelets that say, what will Jesus do? It's not what will he do, it's what did he do. We need to practice that. It is the word of God that will sustain it. Nothing Nothing more, nothing less. It is the word of God that keeps you. Nothing more, nothing less. It is the word of God that will save you. Nothing more, nothing less. It is the word of God that supplies all your needs. Nothing more, nothing less. You don't have to add more sugar to this Kool-Aid. It comes pre-made and ready to go. God is who he is. But you have got to know him, Tyrone. The man says, I want wisdom. I don't want cars, I don't want stuff, I want wisdom. Wisdom about your word. About your word. Sit down this weekend. Stop what you're doing. He will allow you to run around and waste your whole life doing what you think is best. But he's asking you to sit with me. Commune with me. Talk to me. Allow me to talk to you. I can't give you what you ask me for if you don't sit down and talk to me. We walk through life afraid of tomorrow, because we don't know his promise for us. We see what the enemy is doing, we see the weapons forming, and then we get afraid because we don't have the word. I, for one, says, Father, forgive me. I need to spend more time with you. I need to know that word. So then I do have my joy. So then I do have my peace. So then I can walk in confidence. Confidence in your word. You can't, your steps cannot be ordered if you don't know the word. You're walking around in the wilderness lost, and he's got a clear pathway to your promise. But the only way you can find out where that pathway is through his word. So you decide today, do you want to listen to you? Do you want to hear what you have to say? Or do you want to hear what thus saith the Lord? The question still remains, is there a word from the Lord? Is there a word from the Lord? Look, I'm not going to ask you to wait for Monday, because this is too important. The second you get home, go into that secret place and ask him to direct your steps in his word and get what rightly belongs to you. Your life just may depend on it, Mike. Don't wait another day. We wasted enough. We need to sink ourselves, our lives, our kids, our relationships, our friendships into this word so that we may be shining examples of what a true Christian is. How is it that a Gentile came in and knew more about the word than the Jews? How is it that an unsaved soul could come in, get more from the word of God on a Sunday than we can? We've been here all week long. We've been here all year long, but yet an unsaved soul came in and got more in one service than we got all year long. How is that? Because we ain't spending time for word. If you don't have